look at Guy Montag from Fahrenheit 451, who lives in a society that prevents its citizens from having any sort of literature. Guy Montag is a fireman in his community, and his job is to start fires and burn books instead of putting fires out. For example, he encounters this woman who refuses to leave her house and is willing to die inside of her house with her books because she cherishes them so much. Because of this woman, Guy Montag begins to question why his society prevents him from being able to read any literature. The first time he defies these restrictions is by keeping a book, and he begins to read and realize that reading gives him different perceptions on life that he didn't think were possible. He confides in his wife Millie, and she tells him to get rid of the books immediately. In response, Guy says that she doesn't understand why he's doing this, that there's something behind a passion for literature that she doesn't understand. Guy begins to defy these restrictions because he realizes how important literature is and how important different interpretations of the concepts of life are. Even his captain, Chief Beatty, tells him to get rid of the books, and Montag still doesn't listen. The highest authority figure in his life tells him to get rid of the books, but his passion for literature becomes so strong that he defies his instructions and still keeps the books and still wants to learn more about literature and still wants to learn more about how important it is to read and to understand different outlooks on life and the different controversial topics that his society wishes that they could prevent their citizens from learning about. In the end, Montag was able to re-establish a society and re-implement new values of literature. We can look at this example to understand the benefits that reading has and how it leads to more educated individuals that leads to a more well-rounded society. Now let's look at John Proctor from The Crucible, who lives in Salem, Massachusetts when the witch trials begin to unfold. When people in the town are being accused of witchcraft, John Proctor gets a slippery slope fallacy casted onto him from the members of the church because they claim that he missed church on one Sunday and therefore he will miss it the next week and the next week and the next, which makes him a witch. However, John Proctor refuses to admit to these ridiculous accusations. He says that his respected reputation in the town is more important to him than the persecutions he is facing if he does not admit to the witchcraft. The members of the church try to pressure him to admit to witchcraft and even punish his wife for it. But John Proctor does not let the status quo sway him in a different direction. He cares more about his personal moral values and sticks by them despite the difference in perspectives from him and the members of the church. In the end, we can follow the example of Proctor of never giving up what you feel is correct. No matter what the members of the church and the other members in his community told him, he always stood by what he thought was right. Both of these characters demonstrate how individual decision-making can set themselves apart from the norms of their societies. Taking these tips into consideration, one who struggles with finding their own identity can learn how to follow their own truth in certain situations where there is a lot being expected of them.